She whispered late at night that she'd run back to her first love if he ever returned. I pretended to sleep, let her believe I never heard a word, then quietly walked away and watched as karma took everything she left me for. My name is Noah. I'm 28, living in the cold, quiet corners of Colorado. For most of my life, I believed that trust was the strongest root of love, that it could hold anything steady if you nurtured it enough. But that night, I learned that even the deepest roots can rot silently beneath the surface. Lena and I had met 3 years ago at a friend's engagement party. She was standing across the room with her hair tucked behind one ear, laughing in a way that pulled every eye toward her. There was something about her presence, calm yet magnetic, that drew me in before she even noticed me. When we finally spoke, it was effortless. Her voice had this gentle rhythm. Her smile made you want to keep talking, and the way she listened made you feel like you were the only one in the room. That night, something started that neither of us could have predicted. We fell into a comfortable rhythm, weekend hikes in the Rockies, lazy Sunday afternoons on the couch, and small fights about which movie to watch. We built dreams together, buying a house, adopting a dog, growing old in a place that felt like home. Life felt predictable in the best way, the kind of love that grew quietly, steadily. Or so I thought. Then came that Friday night, the night everything changed. We cooked dinner together, nothing fancy, just pasta, a bottle of wine, and the soft glow of our kitchen lights. The little things about her felt like home. The way she reached for the salt without asking, the way her hair fell forward as she stirred the sauce, the way she hummed when she thought no one was listening. After dinner, she said she was going to bed early. That caught me off guard. She usually stayed up late with me, talking, laughing, watching whatever show we were into that week. But that night, she just seemed distant. I followed her to the bedroom, turned to my side, and pretended to sleep. I thought maybe she needed space. Maybe it was one of those quiet nights every couple has. But then her phone rang. It was subtle, the vibration against the nightstand. She answered quickly, her voice barely above a whisper. It was softer, almost tender, a tone I hadn't heard in a long time. Not even when she spoke to me. I couldn't hear everything, but one sentence slipped through the dark like a knife through quiet. I still think about him. Then came the words that shattered everything I knew. First love of my life. You never forget. If he ever reaches out again, I'll go to him. Always. I'd forget everything and love again. My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. I kept my face still, afraid that if I moved, she'd know I'd heard. She laughed softly into the phone, a laugh that used to belong to me, and said something about how I wouldn't understand. Then she ended the call, rolled over, and fell asleep as if she hadn't just torn my heart open. I lay there until morning, listening to her breathe, wondering how long that ghost of her past had been living between us. When the sun rose, she moved through the apartment like nothing had happened. Making coffee, humming under her breath, smiling at me like the night before had been a dream. I almost confronted her right then, but some part of me needed to be sure. I needed to see who she really was when she thought I wasn't looking. Over the next few days, I watched the small changes multiply. She put a password on her phone. She started taking calls in another room. Once, she left her phone on the counter, and a notification popped up from Ashley. Only, Lena didn't have a friend named Ashley. Every time her phone buzzed, something in my chest twisted. Her laughter while texting, the soft smiles, the secretive glances, they all became clues in a puzzle I never wanted to solve. I stayed calm. I told myself I needed facts before I spoke. So I waited. A week later, I asked her to sit down so we could talk. The air felt heavy, like even the walls knew what was coming. I told her what I heard that night. Every word she said when she thought I was asleep. Her face went pale, the color draining like ink in water. For a few seconds, she just stared at me. You were awake? She whispered. I was. She tried to laugh it off. You're misunderstanding, Noah. It was just talk. I was joking with a friend. You called him, I said quietly. That wasn't a joke. She ran her fingers through her hair, avoiding my eyes. You're overthinking. It doesn't mean anything. Then why the password? Why the fake contact name? Who's Ashley? She blinked, caught off guard. A friend from work. You told me last month you don't talk to anyone from work outside the office. Her mouth tightened. You're letting one phone call mess with your head. I looked at her, and for the first time, I saw past the softness I'd fallen for. Maybe you don't love him anymore, I said quietly. But you don't love me either. You love the memory of him. And I can't keep competing with someone who isn't even here. She grabbed my hand, tears filling her eyes. Please don't say that. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. I was just emotional. I didn't mean it. But I could hear the truth in my bones. You meant it. Even if you wish you didn't. That night, I packed my bag. She followed me from room to room, crying, begging, apologizing. But every word felt smaller than the ones I heard that night. When I finally walked out, she stood in the doorway crying, and I didn't look back. For days after, she texted and called non-stop, paragraphs about how I misunderstood, how she never meant to hurt me, how she just wanted to remember what love used to feel like. But deep down, I knew. She wasn't sorry for what she felt. She was sorry for getting caught. I waited, wondering what she'd do when she realized I wasn't coming back. The silence that followed was deafening. A week passed, then two. Then one night, a message from an unknown number appeared on my screen. Hey Noah, this is Ryan. We need to talk about Lena. Ryan, her first love. The one she whispers about like a ghost that never left her chest. I agreed to meet him, even though every part of me wanted to ignore it. We met at a coffee shop downtown. He looked exactly like I imagined. Tall, relaxed, confident. The kind of man you'd expect to be someone's first love. He shook my hand, then sat down. I know this is awkward, he said, but you deserve to know the truth. He told me that Lena had reached out to him a month ago, that she said we'd grown apart, that she missed the way things used to be. They talked for weeks, messages, late-night calls. She told him she felt alone, that I worked too much, that I didn't understand her like he did. Hearing those words from his mouth felt like déjà vu. I'd heard them before that night in the dark. Then he said something that changed everything. I didn't know she was still with you. She told me you two broke up months ago. When I found out the truth, I ended it. I didn't feel anger, just clarity. Lena wasn't holding on to a person. She was holding on to a feeling. That first love rush. She wanted to relive the thrill, not the man. 2 days later, she showed up at my door. Eyes red, hair messy, voice shaking. Noah, please can we talk? I let her in, not to reconcile, but to end it for good. She sat on my couch, hands clasped tight. I know I messed up. I just wanted to remember how love used to feel before everything got complicated. But it made me realize that I love you. I don't want him. I want us. I looked at her calmly. Do you even know why this hurts? It's not because you talk to him. It's because you think love is something that comes and goes whenever you feel lonely. For me, it's something I choose every day, even when it's hard. She started crying. I can change, Noah. I'll go to therapy. I'll delete every contact if you want. I shook my head. You didn't lose me because you loved him. You lost me because you never learned what love really is. Her tears fell harder. You're really done, aren't you? Yeah, I said quietly. You can't build a future when half your heart still lives somewhere else. She whispered a final goodbye and left. That night, I blocked her number. For the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully. Months passed. One afternoon, I was scrolling through Facebook when I saw a photo. Lena and Ryan, smiling together. Caption. Sometimes first love finds its way back. I didn't feel anger, just relief. She hadn't chosen him over me. She chose the fantasy she couldn't let go of. Weeks later, a friend told me Ryan had broken up with her. Apparently, she'd been messaging another guy from her gym. I just nodded, because karma doesn't rush, but it never forgets. That night, I sat on my balcony watching the lights fade, feeling a quiet peace in my chest. It wasn't satisfaction. It was understanding. Some people aren't loyal to people, they're loyal to feelings. And when those feelings fade, they chase the next spark, never realizing they're the reason their love keeps burning out. I wasn't perfect. Maybe I missed signs. But I learned something. Love isn't about sparks or drama. It's about choosing someone even when it feels ordinary. Lena never learned that. And maybe she never will. Now, when people ask why I'm single, I just smile and say, because I'd rather wait for something real than fall for another ghost. Sometimes, late at night, I think back to that evening when I pretended to be asleep. If I could change it, I wouldn't. It hurt, yes, but it also set me free. Because the truth is simple. Love built on illusions will always collapse under honesty. And peace, real, quiet, unshakable peace, feels better than being half-loved. If you believe true love deserves loyalty, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that speak straight to the heart.